So, Lance, financial modeling, why do people find it so difficult to do?
Pete, great question. Financial modeling is really the discipline of accounting and finance and Excel and bringing all that together to make a really good forecast or budget or plan or whatever it is. It's about looking forward as opposed to looking back. And that's what's difficult, right? Because it's a bit art and science related to it. It's like, there's uncertainty in the future, but then how do you build a good structure, but still looking to the future? And I guess that's one of the biggest challenges that most people have.
And when you're looking at these financial models, you mentioned this thing about a three-way. What actually is a three-way model?
Yeah, it's great. I know people can think of many different things when they think three-way, but it's your three statement, your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow. And many people forecast a P&L. It's just profitability, it's revenue, it's costs. Some people do cash flow forecasting, but very few people do balance sheet forecasting because balance sheets are quite complex in terms of how they work between accounts receivable, accounts payable, debtors, and how that all interrelates. And so a three-statement model was where you model all three of those together and they're integrated. And that's what makes it difficult because you really got to understand your debits and your credits like a good accountant, but you've also got to have really good technical skills in terms of building drivers and assumptions around how the balance sheet moves, how the cash flow moves, and how it all hangs together. And I think that's the difficult part. It's bringing all those three together that is often difficult for people, particularly if you're doing it manually, building it from scratch. And I guess that's the thing that I'm hopefully trying to show people, that you don't have to build it from scratch every time.
Got you. And some of the financial planning that I've seen in the past has just been last year's performance plus 10%.
Oh, it's terrible. I hate that. It's terrible.
So that's not the kind of financial model which your team builds?
No, I mean, there's certain expenses that you would just do growth rate, like, CPI, but most things are actually what they call driver based. So, revenue goes up based relative to volume and price. It's not just a percentage. It's actually, the volume of, in your case, product control, volume of trades, right? And the margin and the price that you're getting for those and what that drives. And then what's the cost of that? What's the cost of funds? What's the cost of goods sold? What's the cost to serve? All of these elements go into the drivers of profitability. So no, it's not just X% on last year. That's what makes finance people's jobs, they take the shortcut. I'll just do 3% or 5% on last year. But as a business person or in sales, you've got to say, okay, well, which products, at what volume, at what price, what discount can I give customers? And am I eroding margin or not? So it very quickly becomes quite a complex discussion.
So it sounds like the approach that you and your team are taking is more around how can we use financial modeling to not just assess the business performance, but also to improve the business performance.
Absolutely, and drive better decisions. I think, a great accountant will ask you, what number do you want it to be, right? And a true business partner will explain how to get there. So yes, it's about driving performance, but making better decisions as you do that. Because if you're making bad decisions, you're driving in the wrong direction, really. And I think that's where good models and good finance and financial modelers are really helpful at driving the right decisions and helping businesses grow.
I was chatting to a CFO probably 2 weeks ago. They want how we approach our job to be less about validating numbers and more about helping the business drive better performance. So I think what you're talking about is also what that CFO was talking about.
Yeah, it's about making the backward-looking stuff automated, highly automated, in fact, where I'm just clicking a few buttons and it updates. And I want to have the discussions around the future and the value that you can add. And I think that's where most CFOs would want their teams to be, but sadly, they're still stuck in just manual spreadsheets. I mean, like I said, it's not the spreadsheet that's the problem. It's how people use it that's the problem. And so if we have highly automated spreadsheets, then we can actually spend more time adding value as opposed to checking numbers.
If we did want to learn more about financial modeling, do you offer training through your company?
Yeah, we do, Peter, and we've actually got a special coming up on three-way modeling straight off Xero, which is cloud accounting, one of the largest cloud accounting packages. So you could build a model in this training off Xero. And once you have that, then you can build the drivers. And then most of that's pre-built, but you can add and you can change things as you go. So the great thing about our training, it's not just about learning Excel and modern Excel. So some of the latest innovations with Excel and the way that Excel's evolved quite a lot, but also actually how do you make it practical? How do you then take that model, put it into practice, build a model, and actually sell value to a client. So this could be a great opportunity for someone who's sick and tired of their day job and wants to start their own business and build models for clients and win clients. And so come to the training, and it's 2 4-hour sessions, one mainly on Excel and financial modeling, and then there's another 4-hour deep dive session on Power BI. So how do you build a financial model in Excel, but then how do you visualize that in Power BI? And there's very few training programs that do both. And there's very few accountants that actually know how to do that properly. So we want to do both. We want to give accountants and finance professionals the tools, the technology, and the skills to be able to do this themselves.
Okay, sounds great. So do you want to show me the kinds of things that I'm going to learn in the training?
Yeah, sure. Let me just quickly share the screen. So what we're going to go through is sharing the basics of an Excel financial model, which is what you see here. This is a model which people will get access to in the training. Right now, there's nothing in it. So, if we look at our annual financials, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, there's nothing in this. There's some output, scenario manager. And of course, we're going to show people how do we do that and how do we pull data from the cloud. So we get information, we pull it down, and we update it, do various scenarios around that. So I'm going to click the demo data. So it populates that for us. So I can speed up the process a little bit. And really what this is happening in the background, it's pulling the information, it's building the chart of account structure. You can leverage through the training this information and the structure that we've built to really build a really good model very quickly, but it's using Xero, which is a cloud accounting package. So irrespective of the chart of accounts, this is actually building out the chart of account structure based on the demo data, but people are actually going to be using a demo company, which we've signed up to and created, which has an income statement, a balance sheet. It pulls all of that down, and then it populates and pulls that into the model and then populates it into dashboards and other outputs, which we're going to show. So the training is about how do we use this Excel add-in called Excel Cloud to deliver a really good model, but also learn some of the formulas and the structure that we've built. So this is now populated. This is the executive summary, really basic around some of the key assumptions, revenue growth rate, expenses, key assumptions. There's a scenario manager, which you can change different scenarios. There's a scenario dashboard, which allows us to look at different scenarios as well. If we want to look at other sales and income, our annual financials that we spoke about earlier. So now that's fully populated. So our income statement, our balance sheet, and our cash flow. And what this means is that we're able to make all these changes, understand all the data. This is where the data comes through from Xero, and then that's processed through Power Query and allows us to drive some of these assumptions. So if we look at, for example, some of these other elements around our P&L logic and our revenue calculations, our distribution, volume, price, all of these things get quite granular and quite detailed in terms of how do you build and how do you map it to different chart of accounts. So you might map it to the sales account, or you might map it somewhere else. And you've got different types of logic. Is it growth rate? Is it volume times price? Like I said, some items in a model will grow based on a percentage, but in many cases it's driver based. But the real power is in the scenario manager, and I'll go there because this is where people want to understand, okay, revenue is growing, volume's growing, cost of goods, working capital, days in debtors, all of these things fluctuate. So how quickly I can collect my revenue in receivables. And then here I can actually see, well, what is the impact of my valuation? I'll zoom in a little bit here. What's the impact of my valuation under base scenario? Under best scenario, this is 5 to 6 mil, and then under worst case scenario, 2 to 3 mil. And I can look at all of that. I can also, if I really want to be sophisticated, do Monte Carlo simulation and run 50 simulations. And that allows to randomly generate through a normal distribution all of those assumptions. So rather than doing 3 scenarios, I've got an output and I've got 25% quartile, 75% quartile. In the end, it's a quicker way of understanding impacts and revenues, profit, valuation, enterprise, and equity valuation. So people are going to learn how to use this model. We're going to allow them to have a play with it. And what's most important is get to show them some really cool formulas like dynamic arrays, and then how to build some of these exports into Power BI. So here's a single formula that generates this entire strip of information. This is called a dynamic array coupled with Lambda. So they're going to see this really cool formula. So what you can see here is this formula gets grayed out. And I can't kill this. This is not a hard-coded formula. This is some of the latest stuff that I'm pushing delete. It doesn't want to kill it. So it's a really robust, it's a single formula that does this entire strip of data. and that entire strip goes into my Power BI file. So yeah, very, very powerful. That's the first part of the training. Any questions there, Pete?
What type of person would benefit from this training?
Any person that's wanting to be a finance business partner, if they want to look forward, they want to build better models, they want to understand scenarios, they want to have the skills, because whilst we're using Excel Cloud and Xero, it's kind of irrelevant. This is about structure and how to apply that process of getting better decisions quicker, more efficiently. So if you're FP&A, if you're a finance partner, I'd say even if you're a product controller to some degree, because in the end, it's about how do I look forward and how do I understand certain things and model better. Even if I'm not going to do a proper three-way model, just understanding how to lay out my assumptions. How do I design things? How do I do some dashboards? How do I separate assumptions from calculations with logic and structure? So I think those things as well would benefit people in terms of understanding some of the financial concepts, but even just good practice and good design. And I think, they'll love some of our cool dashboards, like this combo dashboard, which shows all of the different scenarios here around valuation, enterprise valuation. How do you lay something out like this? We'll cover all of those elements to the Excel deep dive, the 4 hour.
Looks really comprehensive.
Yeah, we think so. But I guess, obviously this is the Excel space, then you want to say, okay, well, what happens in Power BI? And we're going to do that as well in the second session of 4 hours. So the first 4 hours is three-way modeling Excel. The second session is about Power BI. So here we have a blank Power BI template. Again, we are using a financial dates calendar. People get to understand analytics, leverage and develop their analytics skills while using Power BI, which is arguably one of the best BI tools in the market. So all we're going to do here is we're going to change, as you will see here, there's no data in this model. It's all blank. There's the income statement, there's my balance sheet, all blank, and then my cash flow as well. So all of these items, when I refresh this again, understanding the fundamental basics, but then actually getting to play with some real tools. I'm going to change the source of that file to the file that I just saved on my desktop. So I'm going to click Browse. And this is using Power Query, which is also in Power BI and Excel. Just make sure we've got the latest one, which is that one there. Click OK and close. And then I'm going to apply those changes. So what's going to happen is all of those calculations I just did in Excel, Pete, are going to come through in Power BI. This is all being loaded through the data model, through the income statement data, the dates table. Again, we're going to go through all of these terms. What does that mean in the training? So people can really understand what do all these terms mean. So straight off the bat, that was now blank to being populated. Why would you use Power BI over Excel? Well, now I can distribute these dashboards to many, many different people and not have to send Excel files around. I can publish it to Power BI Online. There's my income statement. There's my balance sheet. And there's my cash flow. So I can go along and I can go file, publish, and I can publish to powerbi.com. So I can then go and share that and people can interact with me. I'm not going to do that now because it's going to hold things up, but interact with people. And
Is this similar to Tableau?
It is, that's right. So Power BI is Tableau's competitor. I'd say Tableau has fallen by the wayside in terms of its being the leader. It was the leader for many, many years in business intelligence. But I'd say that Power BI has now superseded Tableau because Microsoft have invested so much into Power BI. And of course, look at what we've got here, Copilot.
Yeah, not just right? Copilot.
So we've got Copilot being embedded in all these Microsoft products. In fact, the first time I saw Copilot in any or AI in any of these was through the DAX and quick measures. So if I click on here, quick measures, I have the ability to ask Copilot for some measures in this model. So calculate, certain things for me. So calculate total revenue. Let's just see what that does. And it's going to generate and give me a suggested measure in terms of how I want to calculate that. So it's not perfect, as we said. It's still early days for AI. So there we have. It's got a calculator, it's got a preview, and it's got my measure that I can then drag and drop into. So I don't even have to learn DAX, which is quite a complex language in Power BI. I can start to use Copilot. So again, we're going to show this in the training, and it's incredibly useful and powerful. And I know you're pushing the boundaries on AI, and I guess that's where we want people to go. We want people to play with these tools and get excited.
Yeah, we want to try and let the machines, let the bots do the heavy lifting, and we do the fun stuff like help businesses improve their performance.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely, and understand the results and how to make better decisions. So what is EBITDA, what is cash flow, over what period, what happened in May, for example. So here I can look at May's results, compare that overall, compare May and July, and or look at them side by side in aggregates.
Do you know what I think is the most helpful here is that I've been to numerous different finance teams in my life, and everybody sets up their own graphs, their own data ingestion, the data conversion. They all set it up differently. I said, but here's like pre-established. If you're using Xero, you can take the data in, you can format it in this way. This is really user friendly. You can interact with it.
And you can change it. You're not stuck in there like all other applications. You're forced into that template. It's Excel, it's Power BI. You can change it. You can take whatever you want, and you can evolve it. But I think that's a really good
starting point.
Yeah, good starting point.
So when people finish the training, what do they walk away with?
They walk away with a completed Excel file, Excel model. They can complete with a Power BI model, with the dashboard, exactly like what you see. They have an instruction manual. They have a recording. They would have walked away with 4 hours of deep experience in terms of building this and working through all of these elements. We are going to walk through some of the more complex Excel formulas, the modern Excel formulas that have been introduced through dynamic arrays and lambdas. We're going to introduce the data model in terms of Power BI and how that hangs together. So, understanding how this is designed. Again, you're not going to be building this from scratch because we can't do everything in those 4 hours, but you're definitely going to get a really good understanding and walk away with, I understand what he's talking about. I understand what a dates table is. I understand what these templates mean. I understand what the data means. I understand the transformation. I understand all these things. So they're going to be building certain elements of this so we understand, but there's going to be a very detailed training manual. They can walk away, practice in their own time, but actually get to play with these tools unfortunately, when do you get to play with technology? Everyone's so busy in their time. And so that's why we've decided 2 big chunks, 4 hours in length. It's deep, focused. We're not interspersing it between other emails and other work. Dedicated, focused, 2 sessions, 8 hours in total, huge value. And they walk away with being able to build these models from zero.